Welcome to the Dream Agility SaaS platform. This is the initial page that a user will see when they first log onto the platform. What we haven't shown you is our side of the setup where we create the subdomain for them to enter the platform. Once we've created the subdomain, we invite the email they use to sign up to create a user account. First of all, I'm going to show you the wizard. So you'll see here we have a screen introducing the wizard and the next steps. We'll click OK. Firstly, we'll need to name the account and give it its store URL. Then enter our contact details. Next, we'll have to provide our AdWords details. Now we'll enter our Merchant Center details. Next, we'll have to provide Bing details if we want to do this. For the demonstration, we're going to skip this. That's it. So now we've linked up our Google account and we are able to now begin the process of setting things up. Now that we've set up the Google account, it's time to set up the rest of our feeds. So you'll see as we progress through the platform that there's actually tutorials that pop up to try and help you understand how it works. So you'll see here it highlights all the areas that there is in the platform. So feeds, where you set up your feed itself and how you can configure it. The recommendations, which are the bid changes and negative. The account analysis, which is our special one-off tool, which removes 0 conversion terms from the search terms. Search products, which is the database of products, allowing you to, at a product level, optimize the products. The dashboard, which is an inventory dashboard tied in with AdWords data to give a view of where there's opportunities to make more money, where you're lacking stock and it's affecting sales, things like that. Pricing Manager, allowing you to monitor your competitors' pricing within the dashboard. This is manual currently. And then tutorial videos, which are intended to help you out whenever you get stuck on certain places. Account is where you can modify any of your details, for example, the Google credentials and things like that. Okay, so first thing we'll do as a new client would be to set up our feed. This is a relatively simple process. Actually, I'll just attach the tutorials onto this. So here you'll see that the tutorial explains how to create a feed and provides also a video for you to watch and follow along. So we'll start following the tutorials. You'll see here it automatically selects the store we created within the account. Now we're going to give it a file name and set the country that we want to target. So once we've done this, we'll need to configure the feed. There we go. So this is how we configure our feed. Here are our options for getting a feed into the platform. And this is our auto-generated Google MC file name to prevent any collisions with other Google MC file names within our MCA. And here's the file type that we'll need to set so the platform can decipher what type of feed it is and how to process the information. Obviously with XML files we have item tags, so we need to make sure that we enter them in there. With this feed that I'm going to set up for the purpose of this trial, I'm going to be using a download feed off a URL. If we had any security credentials on the URL, we'd enter them here, and that would allow us to access the feed. So now that I've entered a display name, set the file type and item tag, and selected the method of getting the feed into the platform, I will just press save. So now that we've set a download type, what we can actually do is download the feed, and this will automatically map the field headers into the platform. The spinning icon will eventually close off with either a tick or a cross. Obviously a tick indicating that the feed successfully downloaded into the platform, a cross signifying that something went wrong, which means we have to go back and check what was potentially wrong with that situation. As described, a green tick has appeared and informed us that the import was successful. So we'll just press OK. Your feed has been imported. Exactly. So now it's telling us that we can map our fields. This is quite an important step. So what this does is it brings us into the platform. And this help through here is just explaining what exactly the mapper is. So as explained, on the left side of the screen are the various product fields available in Google and Bing. And to save it, you just simply need to press the green save button. So what you see here, the blue fields are the fields from the feed. So ID being exactly as it is from the feed, title, description, things like that. So we've already got quite a lot of stuff already in there working, which is great. What this also means is that we can now add any rules in or modifications that we want to make. So the first one being, what we're going to do here is we're just going to simply put DA for Dream Agility in front of the ID to show that actually this isn't the product that you created, this is a product that we created. And it's that simple. You can modify the attributes before they get used in the feed. So we can supply default values for whenever that attribute has no value. We can change the casing of that field. We can limit how many characters that outputs. Replace certain words from that. So for example, if we wanted to take out title from the title and replace it with product, that's something that we could do. And obviously any additional white spaces, we can also remove them. So for example, 2 or 3 spaces consecutively, that will trim that down to 1. The blue plus button allows us to add other fields in from the feed. So just demonstrating how adding an extra field in would work. You'll see I've added in a dash here, and now we can just pick any field from the feed. So for example, MPN. And that is how we can modify a feed dynamically. And obviously this is just the first level of optimization. Later we'll come on to the product level optimization available through search products. Once we're happy with our optimizations, we can press save, which makes all the changes to the feed secure. We return to feed management, and now we are able to further progress with the feed. So now that it's optimized and we want to publish it to the correct marketplaces, we can press OK. We've already downloaded the feed, which means it's available in the platform to upload. If you haven't already downloaded your feed, you would need to do so. But as we've done it, we can now just go to Publish Feeds, select Google, OK, and that will send it up. Again, the spinning disk will be replaced with a tick or a cross. Obviously the tick indicating it was successful, the cross indicating that it failed. Typically, when it fails, it could be something like the feed isn't set up within Merchant Center, the FTP details are wrong, or something along those lines. So, as explained, the reason one of the reasons they can fail is due to the feed not being put in Merchant Center. So I hadn't actually gone into Merchant Center and created the feed with that file name. If I quickly go and do that, I'll just pause the video while I do it. And when we jump back in, we should hopefully see that it pushes correctly. So I've just gone and made the necessary changes. I'm just about to publish the feed again, and we should hopefully see a tick this time. As you can see, the publish carried out successfully. And now we can go back within the rest of the platform and check out the other areas and do some stuff there. So the next logical step is to go into search products. This is our kind of database of products, or search engine of products if you like. So by simply entering star or asterisk, we can pull back all the products that we submitted in the feed into Merchant Center. Now that that's loaded, it tells us exactly how many products were in the feed. We can get simply the list of IDs for if we want to manually build out some product groups or exclusions. This section gives us all the product details directly from Merchant Center. Okay, so now that we've got the products, it's time to open one up and give it an edit. Now that the product is loaded, we can see the search products product pages. So it pulls back the information directly as it is in Merchant Center, and as you can see, we've got all the attributes available. The one that we can't actually edit is the offer ID. Obviously, this would affect the indexing within Merchant Center, so we keep this locked. But all of the fields are editable. The only times where search products would not keep its optimizations are price and availability. This is to prevent anything from being mismatched when Google comes to crawl it. But however, every other attribute is available to edit and will remain edited once changed in search products. So if we just take a look at this one, we could add in the MPN into the title. We could branch out the brand a bit. Anything we want really. And when we're done, we simply press the update product button. There we go. And that will update the information straight into Merchant Center. And that is it. So back to the rest of the platform. Once we've kind of put in all our optimizations on the feed and we're happy with how that's optimized, we can get on to the AdWords side of things and managing that. So the first thing I would recommend is an account analysis. This is the 0 converting terms being removed from the account. It's very simple. You simply select the store, run the tool, and it will carry out the analysis and push the changes into your account. As you can see, the account analysis gives you a little pop-up once it's completed, just to tell you that it's made the changes to the account successfully, and it gives you the estimate of how much it is seen of the cost in the last 30 days that is now negatived out. It returns this value to you so you can see how much you should see the cost drop by over the next 30 days. As we can see, we've recommended that they run the analysis tool again in 2 weeks' time to keep on top of the 0 converting terms. Now that we've got the 0 converting terms out of the way, the next step is to start affecting the bidding and AdWords data. So again, we select our store, and the first thing we do is give ourselves a name for our report. So now that we've given it a name, we can select what type of campaign we're interested in looking at. So for this client, we're going to choose shopping. Next is selecting the duration. So obviously, we've taken the same type of times as would be available in Google. We've also provided custom times for anyone that wants one that's not a standard. Then we can either select all campaigns or go down into individual campaigns level to set specific targets against each campaign. However, if you have an overall account target, you can run the report at an account level. Next, we set the max CPC, as in how much we at most want to spend on a bid. And here we can see the tutorial started kicking in now that we've got the max CPC in terms of handling your targets and how you want to work something. So the 3 options available in the SaaS platform are ROAS, CPA, and cost of sale. Here we give explanations behind those KPIs and how you can calculate them. So for this account, they actually work on a ROAS. And once we've got all that information in and we're happy with how it looks, we feel like it's targeting the right things that we want to target, we can simply press Get Recommendations. Now this works in 2 parts. So the first is it will go and get you all your product ID bids, or product group bids rather. And it will also bring back the negatives to add in against those product groups / ad groups. Now the reports have successfully generated, we can download them. So the one on the right is the negative recommendations. So these are exact match search terms to add into the campaigns. And these are your CPC recommendations for your product groups. If we ran this on search, it would provide keyword bids, but it would still provide negative search term recommendations, and the same for display. So first off, let's download the CPC recommendations. It downloads as a zip file to keep things small and tidy, not take up too much room, and opens in Excel. As you can see, this has booted up the report, and it's quite simple. So we have our campaign names, our campaign IDs, ad group names and ad group IDs, the product group, their partition type and max CPC. We also include some performance metrics so you can eyeball over them, make sure you feel you're happy with them. And then this is a simple copy and paste into AdWords editor or upload through uploads in AdWords. So now I'll download the negative recommendations. Again, downloads in a zip file and opens in Excel. As you can see, once it opens up in Excel, it's a relatively simple file, providing just the campaign name, the ad group name, the search term that it found that needed negative, and the match type of exact. What we do with this is we can simply copy it, load it into AdWords editor on negative keywords in mass changes, and then upload that directly to AdWords. So that's been genius, or recommendations as it's known in SAAS. Now unfortunately with Dashboard and Pricing Manager, this requires an active account, live website, and so unfortunately we can't do this in this demonstration purposes, but what I can do is show you an example from one of our live clients. This is an inventory dashboard. We've got filters along the top here, so we can filter down to bestseller products, high revenue products, and high cost products. We can remove certain elements from the dashboard that we don't want to see, such as the product details, the all-time performance data, the last 30 days versus previous period data, or the miscellaneous stock info. However, let's just work through that data here. So down the left hand side we have the product along with its title, its ID and its image, one of the three categorization icons of high revenue, high cost and high conversions. We also link it straight to Always On, where you can edit the product details if needed. We have an annotation section for leaving comments and kind of keeping track of how that product's performed, any notes that you want someone else to be able to see within your team. The merchant center status, so whether it's approved or disapproved. The price. The competitor prices. This comes from the Pricing Manager. It is a manual process where you can track and keep record of your competitor prices and then are able to use this data within the dashboard to give you an idea of why performance data might look the way it does. We also include the sales price if a product is on sale. And one feature that is available is the cost of goods within the feed. So this requires being mapped in the mapper, and the profit is calculated off the back of that. So just shimming along the page, we now have the performance data. So we take into consideration all time, and these little percentages match up to how much of the account it makes up. And you can order by these. So if you want to see your highest converting products of all time, things like that. Then we have the same metrics, but on a last 30 days versus previous period timescale. So you'll see here we have a cost of £2.27 versus a previous cost of £125.47. The conversion data, conversion value, impression share, and ROAS again. Moving across to the inventory information. Quantity is obviously based on the attribute within the feed. If you do not provide that, we can't map it and display one. We can inform you whether it's in stock or out of stock through the availability field. And what we do is we also apply a percentage to allow you to see how often when your feed was updated was the product in stock over the last 30 days. In an instance where the in-stock is below 100%, we provide a lost revenue estimate based on the previous conversion value and how long it was out of stock for and how that would equate. So it's not an exact science, but gives a good idea for people within the business how much money they could have made. The area of the platform is tutorial videos. You're able to come here if you ever get lost or you want to find out how to do something again and you no longer have the tutorials on your screen. And the tutorials can always be called back at any point by clicking on the question mark. But this is nice and handy just to keep you up to date, allow you to see exactly what's going on, how we would do it. Okay, so that's all the areas of the SAAS platform. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.